Hello, all you ghosts and goblins out there. I am Andrew,
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Sean.
and we are the Night Scholars, exploring the mystifying world of cryptids, ghosts, ghouls, and all things supernatural. Today, we are talking about the fearsome wintertime yokai, the Snow Woman, the Yuki Onna. How you guys doing today?
It is a brisk 60 degrees here where I'm at in Texas, so not bad at all.
Oh man, it did not hit above 30 degrees here.
That's impressive considering that other parts of Texas are literally frozen.
Yeah, I heard Abilene is in the negatives, which is crazy. You wouldn't think Texas and negative would be in the same sentence.
No, but perhaps somebody spoke the namesake of today's episode out loud and she's just having too much fun out there.
I ain't scared of her. uh, watch. I'll be frozen over for the next episode. Is what's probably going to happen.
I hope so.
I mean, I do live in the middle of nowhere now, so it'll be easier for her to find me.
Indeed. Luckily, I adore her, so even if she ever comes to me, I'd just be like, wow, thank you.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
And I will admit to not knowing much about her before we started research on this episode.
yeah, it's one that I wasn't really familiar with either.
So, what did you find out about her, Sean?
Not a lot. Most of the sources I found just kept reiterating the legends, whether she was a spirit wronged by her lover, or spirit representing all those wronged by their lovers. Or most of the time, she dealt with vengeance. That's what I found.
Come on, Sean, you're head of scholarly research.
I know. I did my best this week, and I came up short. But the tales of her are really fun to read.
Indeed. Although that's kind of disappointing because more so what I found was that she is more so just a spirit that represents the respect of traditions and of the lands and of nature. And it's when the people are no longer respectful of it and when they grow complacent with who they are and no longer mind the gods, that is when she enacts her vengeance. So it's not
So you're
really about
saying,
love or scorn
uh,
necessarily.
so, so you're saying if I find a random woman in a white kimono in a blizzard, leave her alone?
Oh no, if you see a white woman or if you see a beautiful if you see a white woman, run.
I
But
mean, I'm
in
married to a white
general,
woman, so that's good advice.
indeed,
I think
you
you're,
should have started running a long time ago.
yeah,
But no, if you see a beautiful woman with black hair, pale skin, very red lips, who just seems extremely, extremely pale, and she's coming towards you in the winter time while you're also cold, you're basically dead. Like, there's no running from her. Although I did see that you can possibly prevent death if you are kind to her.
Hmm.
I mean, it'd be pretty easy to be kind, seeing like a woman who's extremely pale out in the snow. I mean, you'd assume she's cold, right?
Maybe.
It probably also has to do with your youth and your status and being able to actually survive the winter.
I wonder if her and the Yule Cat have ever met. They both also tend to pick on the poor.
I would love to see her riding on the back of the Yule Cat. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
I'm going to assume, though, since she is a Japanese myth and legend, that they probably have not met.
Sadly, probably not.
However, I would like to see her other interactions with the other yokai,
Yeah.
if she engages at all.
I couldn't find much else on whether she is on her interactions with the other yokai, but yes, that would be interesting to see how they all handle her.
Indeed. I was trying to figure out if she was actually part of the display. There's a place in Japan that has a bunch of different statues like dedicated to yokai,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and I couldn't figure out if there was a statue dedicated to her or not, and that kind of made me sad.
It is
And
sad.
I'm blanking now on where this place is, and I'm just like, why did I bring this up if I can't remember?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Somebody out there, one of our loyal listeners, will figure it out.
Indeed. If you have ever been there, let us know, because that's definitely going to be someplace that I visit next when I am in Japan.
And you're not going to take us along to do a live episode.
I don't.
If you guys would
Awkward.
like to pay for me to go with you, then I will happily go to Japan with you.
I also don't think we have any listeners in Japan at the moment.
What a shame.
We don't know that.
At least on
I understand.
Spotify, our entire audience is in the United States.
Oh, unfortunate. If you're listening to this, share with your international friends. I know you have some.
Yeah, it's actually just me. But I just listen to every episode like 10 times, you know?
Yeah, Andrew is our only international supporter.
Are you saying West Virginia is its own country now?
I'm saying that Andrew is our international listener.
I'm our only listener.
He just changes up his IP address and he's like, today I feel like being Indonesian.
I mean, I know we have at least one listener who is somewhere, someplace. And it's not Andrew. Unless Andrew is secretly this person, which wouldn't surprise me.
No, I'm not a shapeshifter, unfortunately.
But have you encountered any this week? Because we know I have.
And we
Yeah.
think that I might have. This is what we get. Also, this episode, we are going to try very hard not to say her name because we feel like we might be already cursed by the Skinwalker episode. Because I definitely heard my boyfriend come into the house saying, "Hey, Bay," and he was about 45 minutes away at that point.
And I saw my cat crawl into the space between my mini fridge and my wall. And when I told her to get out from there, she comes out of my bedroom, which is across the room from my mini fridge. So there's definitely something. And I think they finally found us.
I mean, maybe you guys are just crazy, though. Did you ever consider that?
Maybe. I mean, Will said that he would never say, "Hey, Bay." So it does fit for the whole, like, Skinwalker thing of not quite getting the voices right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
weird, that's a, really stop saying their names, too. But, that's a,
Look, I'm already
Oh, we already
cursed. At this point, it's fine.
yeah, that's an awful
we've
modern
said their names
Skinwalker.
so many
But-
times.
I did.
We did this to ourselves.
I used to call them flesh pedestrians when talking to other people, but
Flesh pedestrians.
yep.
I love it.
That's disgusting. Anyways,
So,
so
anyways,
is there an echo?
it's the winter.
It's just Sean.
Probably. I don't know. It's the winter. Andrew, it's really cold over there. Have you seen any strange women in the snow?
No, we only had a real first snow in the winter today. Uh, Not really. I mean, I've seen a couple like normal women in the snow, so I guess that's okay.
Were they extraordinarily pale?
No, no, they were not.
Then you're probably safe.
Yeah, probably.
What I think interesting about the way that she dresses is that there's so much symbolism in the garments that she wears because in Japan, and probably pretty much all over, the white is supposed to symbolize innocence and purity and cleanliness, and it's also the color of mourning. And
I saw that
so
too.
it's kind of interesting with like this whole symbolism where she seems like somebody who should be very warm and inviting or somebody that should be protected. Meanwhile, she is literally the harbinger of death in winter times and turns people to ice through her breath, killing them. And I think that that's interesting. Like, I really like the poetic nature of who she is
Indeed.
because
Indeed.
you'll find that a lot in like Japanese legends is like there's like just a bunch of poeticism throughout all of them.
There
That is
is.
one thing I did notice.
Like, I have another one that I can't remember the name of. Same type of deal. A lot of them seem to be like these beautiful women. A lot of them wearing white, which I guess I know the whole woman in white trope is uh, even a thing here in the West. Uh, yeah, it seems to be a pretty popular thing in Japanese folklore.
Yeah, I found that she dates back to the Edo period, which was 1603 to 1868. And so definitely is long before our folklore really started taking place.
Uh, Actually, I have something here. The I'm just gonna read it to you, okay? Uh,
Yeah.
Yuki Onna is relatively well known among folklore enthusiasts around the world, since her legend extends from poetry in Japan's uh, Muromachi period, which is 1336 to 1573.
Interesting.
Now, that's not a
They know like the
sighting, that's
first,
just a poet. That's just her being mentioned in poems.
because I know the first like written record, or at least I thought the first written record was the Quiden Stories and the Studies of Strange Things by Lakato Hearn. And that story was told by a farmer in the Musashi province.
Okay.
But I
Uh,
didn't see anything that dated back that far, but I believe it though.
yeah, now this isn't,
Definitely
again,
days.
what's written here, it wasn't like an encounter or anything with her, it's just her
He saw her.
mention, I mean, what I have here is just her mention in poetry, which, uh, goes on with like other beings such as like tulpas that a long times before they actually exist they are thought of and talked about, and then they
Mm-hmm.
kind of come into existence, you know, because of the belief in them and such.
I also thought it was interesting that she has a lot of attributes that are not unlike a vampire. And it made me wonder what came first because I just think about like travel and like word of mouth and how like it's not a vampire episode, but it's just how so many different countries have legends that are akin to vampires. long before they would have communicated with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Are you saying you don't believe the vampire existed?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's interesting, like that almost seems more of an argument for the existence of vampires is when there are different creatures with attributes that are similar to them in a bunch of different countries.
I think a lot of it is the pale skin, which kind of falls more into mankind's fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you've ever seen a body, you know, it is pale, right? Because the blood's no longer flowing, giving it the pink or like rosy uh, skin tone, right?
Indeed. Plus, to be able to survive by going around in the winter and both finding people who are on the verge of death and luring people to their death, you would basically have to be undead
Yeah,
in order to survive those conditions.
yeah. I do actually have kind of a description here about her.
Go ahead.
Uh, she is often depicted with piercing eyes that transfix and at times terrorize the gaze of those she preys upon. Her skin is as white and pale as blinding snow, and her body freezing cold to the touch. Her behavior manifests differently according to prefecture, which prefecture she's in. In Niigata Prefecture, she is said to act like a boogie woman who seeks out children who wander into her domain, the snowy forest land. But so what I see here, apparently she has like, I guess what you would call sharp eyes and pale skin.
Yeah, she's every depiction that I have seen describes her with having blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, it's interesting about the child, like you brought it up like a little bit, and how she seems to be a lot more vengeful towards those that she encounters that are adults. But for children, I saw some accounts of her potentially like going around and like looking for her lost children or like mourning her lost children. And anytime that she finds children that are uh, in winter's grasp, she tends to cradle them and puts them to a more like peaceful sleep or peaceful death.
Yeah. So is that how you get like those really tiny snowmen?
I hope not.
That'd be terrifying.
Sorry, that's
No.
no, I get it. That is kind of nice. Yeah, when they're freezing in the winter time. Because I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
it is.
like freezing to death is one of the worst ways to go.
It is. I don't know. There's a couple of different accounts of sightings of her, with the most popular one being of her interaction with the woodworkers, Masaku and his apprentice, Minokichi. And in that story, I could go through the whole thing right now if you guys want me to, or I could just get to the punchline that was actually the punchline, the bit that I was trying to
I
actually say.
Uh, if you want to read the whole thing, do the whole thing.
Okay. So
I have it right here.
I I also have it.
Well, I
So
can't
I
read.
have so I am
We
pulling
knew that.
from I'm pulling from this book called Japanese Myths and Tales, which pulls from the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki, which the Kojiki dates back to 712 AD, and the Nihon Shoki is the second oldest book of classical Japanese history. And it tells the story about Masaku and his apprentice Minokichi, who were traveling to the forest outside of their village on a bitterly cold night. And when they neared their destination, they saw a cold sweep of water in front of them. Uh, the ferry was not available for them, and so they stayed in the ferryman's hut overnight. Misako fell asleep quickly, but Minokichi did not. Minokichi listened to the howling winds and the hard snow as it shook the door to the hut. When he did sleep, it was not for long, and he woke up to snow covering his face and a woman standing in the blown open door. She was dazzling white. She was dazzling with white garments, and she stood for a moment before bending over Misaku. And when she bent over him, her breath came forth like white smoke that felt like a freezing blast of wind. She spared Minokichi, for he was beautiful and young, and warned him not to tell his soul. He went to look over Misaku, but he was frozen cold like a piece of ice. The next year he was traveling, and here it says in the Edo region, but that varies. When he comes across a beautiful woman who says that her name is Yuki, and the two of them have 10 children together. And one night he looks at her and he notices that she resembles the woman that killed Misaku. He tells her about her, and she smiles a horrendous smile and shrieked, "It was I, Yuki Onna, who came to you then and silently killed your master. O faithless wretch, you have broken your promise to keep the matter secret, and if it were not for our sleeping children, I would kill you now. Remember, if they have aught to complain of at your hands, I shall hear, I shall know, and on a night when the snow falls, I will kill you." And then she changed into a white mist, shrieking, shuddering, and passed through the smoke hole, never to be seen again. So in that version, she has children that she, I guess, never sees again. Which is why she's so protective of the children and kind of hates men. I assume that she kills women also, but all of the accounts that I've seen have just been stories about men. Probably because they traveled more often in the snow.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. It says she's like a version of a fatal attraction. So it's kind of that's the same thing with like the women in white stories from Western culture. Again, only beautiful woman draws in men and ends up killing them. Right?
Right, the classic femme fatale.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Oh wait, no, literally, never mind. Okay, it's in the word itself. Yeah.
This person I
Femme
have
fatale,
here says that she wouldn't kill him because of the children unless they ever complained about him.
Yes, I
So
think that's what I said.
okay.
I bet he was a good
Yeah,
dad
the one
after
I'm just
that.
looking at. Yeah, this one just said that she would never come back for him. So,
Yeah.
so
Unless
it's
he hurt her
terrifying
children.
either. Yeah, it's a terrifying thought either way. Like, you're going to be literally scared to death into being a better person.
Good. Well, he better provide them with fresh clothes every winter.
If not, the Yule cat will eat them.
He basically has to just be afraid of every single winter legend going forward.
And I don't know, Sean, you're married. Isn't it pretty normal for your spouse to lean over you in the middle of the night and tell you they're going to kill you?
Every night. Every single one.
I just assume that that's how healthy marriages go.
Yeah.
You gotta put
It
like a
doesn't
little
have to
bit
be
of
in the
fear
middle of
into
the night.
them.
She'll just randomly look up at me and be like, "I'll kill you."
Remember, fellas, that's how you know she loves you if she hasn't killed you yet.
Wait, Sean, are you sure that you are not dating her? The woman in white?
Yuki Onna?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not
I
saying her name. I'm not cursing myself, but yeah.
I've already said it 3 times today. I'm screwed. Um, I've only seen her wear white once, and that was on our wedding day. So who knows?
You
I
did get
could.
married in November.
I got married in October.
Was it a cold day in October?
Not particularly.
Okay, then you might be safe.
Yeah.
I probably, hopefully.
I mean,
Do
just
you
don't.
ever just look?
Go ahead.
Do you ever just look over to Will and say, "I'll kill you"?
I mean, only when he deserves it.
So you're probably not her either.
I mean, it's just kind of like a cute couple thing where we just threaten to kill each other. So probably not.
Is it a couple thing or is it just you threatening him?
Oh no, it's mutual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like today, he was just like, "You are so annoying. Like, do you know that you are the most annoying human being on earth?" And I was just like, "Yes." And that's why he has to put up with daily with me.
It's like I've been trying. Thank you for noticing.
Right? It's just like, thank you for acknowledging the fact that I am so annoying.
And it's part of the fun, like pushing their buttons, right?
Yep.
Indeed. And I'm
It,
wearing white today, but that doesn't mean anything. It's not a kimono. I do own a white kimono.
No.
I'm sure
it's
it's a
also
coincidence.
So
it's
you're
also warm
saying
in
is I'm
your area.
safe as long as she's not wearing a white kimono, right?
Right. Because, like, the white kimono
Probably.
even has a dragon on it. So, and it's from Japan.
Okay.
That would explain why the skinwalker took to you.
And he is doing just fine. Like, he bites every now and then out of nowhere, but he's adorable.
He
All
doesn't
right then.
have like weirdly human teeth or anything, does he?
Uh, Luckily, no. Well, I don't know. Maybe it would be better if they were human because those things are sharp.
Yeah, I think it'd be disturbing though if they were more human.
That's true. That would be. I don't know if I would be able to keep him if he had human teeth.
uh,
Probably be like, look, buddy, we need to have a talk.
he would be able to talk, so.
I did just find out that he's like I thought that he might be a Maine Coon mix, and then it turns out that he might be actually a Norwegian forest cat. So him and the
Okay.
Yule cat might be
That's even
buddies.
great.
That's a good possibility. So that's why he bit you, because Will didn't get you new clothes for Christmas.
You know, Will did
Mm-hmm.
not get me new clothes for Christmas, so I think that that's a
Oh,
fair
rude.
assumption. Indeed, he just got me a matcha kit because again, there's absolutely no resemblance between me and this snow witch.
Mm,
No, not at all. You're not pale and have dark hair.
No, I am not. I am not more pale than I should be, especially for being part Asian.
yeah. You are not Japanese though, so that's we're pretty safe on
That's
that.
accurate.
Yeah.
And I have never been to Japan when it was snowing in the winter.
I don't remember when you went. Was it springtime?
Oh no, it was the winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the question is, have you ever been to Boston in the fall?
Yes. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
It's a dumb joke.
I know it's a reference. I
Okay.
don't remember to what.
What's the joke, since apparently that is me?
The pirates who don't do anything. They've never been to Boston in the fall.
Oh, well, apparently I'm a pirate that does something.
Exactly.
That's good to know. Thank you for enlightening me. So I only really know the one legend. Do you guys
Yeah.
have other ones that you found?
I did
Not really.
see the one where she was married. Yeah, I do have another one here, actually.
Story time. Do tell.
In Niigata Prefecture, an elderly man operated an inn on a mountain trail with his wife. One snowy night, the inn was visited by a young lady traveling alone. She warmed herself by the fire and ate with the innkeeper and his wife. She was sweet and charming and extremely beautiful, so it was even more of a surprise when in the middle of the night, during a fierce blizzard, she stood up and made her leave of the inn. The innkeeper begged her not to go outside and took her hand to hold her back. It was cold as ice. Merely touching it sucked all the warmth from the innkeeper's body. As he tried to keep the girl in the house, her entire body turned into a fine, icy mist and shot up the chimney and out into the night.
I do know that story.
I
I
think
don't
you
know where I
mentioned
heard
it.
Oh,
that story,
interesting.
but I've heard it.
Kind of like that one.
I do too. Apparently, I know more Japanese legends than I thought that I did, because I've definitely heard that one before. And see, that's an example of her sparing lives. Either that, or she was just like, "Get off of me! I have murder to do."
I
Why
mean,
not both?
it really seems to just depend where it's at, because depending on what location they're at, the story and the lore around them seems to change.
Yeah, which makes sense, because if the earliest record of her was, I don't know when the book was written, but the most recent, or the first record, seems fairly new-ish, and the stories would have been going around by word of mouth long before then.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, and
So it
they
makes sense that
change.
regions would change it. And it probably has to do with like their own customs and how the different areas did their time honored traditions of respecting nature as well, since it's more of a, or at least I see it as more of a warning story about the harshness of winter.
Yeah. Uh, I do have another description of her. Well, we already did a description, so we don't need that, do we?
Mm-mm.
But
Probably not.
so, guys, I did find this thing that I thought's pretty neat on this on the yokai.com website. Uh, it says her habitat is mountain passes, and then also anywhere there is snow. And her diet is life energy, but she can also eat ordinary food.
That would make sense since she was able to pass as a human for so long in
Yeah,
order to have 10 children.
yeah, yeah, it
Hmm.
does make sense.
But yes, I did see a lot where she would steal souls.
I
Does it
mean,
does it say what she does with
do
them
those people
after?
really need their souls?
Souls? That's it. That's what she does is souls.
Okay. Does
This
she
Barbie steals souls.
does she put them in magical top hats?
So Andrew really
Uh,
wants to sing Frosty the Snowman for us.
No.
Come
No,
on,
I'm
Andrew, close us
alright.
out with Frosty.
No, it's DMCA, sorry.
That's okay. It will
Honestly,
just go into our very special episode where we do all the things that we keep saying that we'll do later.
It's alright, we're definitely not gonna just record that all at one time.
That would be the very chaotic live episode if we just selected everything that we said that we were going to do and then just did it just one after the other
yes.
Exactly.
instead of a members only stream. And that's all they get. It's just Andrew singing Frosty the Snowman
That will
for
be
a
12
straight hour.
hours.
I don't know if I could do a straight hour. It's a
Not with that attitude.
I mean it's a like the original song is done by a bass, and like that's gonna be pretty far into my lower register.
You have time to practice. That's all I'm saying.
I think that should be Frosty. No. See, I can't I'm too tired to actually hit the lower notes. Plus I'm sitting down. But
Yeah. Well, when we actually do it, then you can just stand up and do like a full performance and
yeah.
with a top hat and everything.
I could. That'd be good for next Christmas if we remember.
I'm sure we'll remember literally all of this.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I want it, me.
Well, anyways, guys, I have an important question to ask you. Do
What's
you
that?
believe in the snow woman?
I don't see any reason why not to. There's some weird things in the snowstorms. I've seen plenty of strange things, so I wouldn't doubt that a beautiful, old, pale woman and who steals your soul could exist in it.
What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, why not? Let's say she exists. Sean made it kind of sound like an okay deal, though. But
There's worse ways to die.
are we all looking for a beautiful woman to steal our soul?
Look, if she wants to be the harbinger that brings me from one life to the next, I'm not going to stop her.
Exactly.
I think that she's actually doing the world a kindness. I don't actually see her as the demon that she is portrayed to be.
Yeah, I mean, in some stories she's not. Again, it just depends on what story and what location you're in. What they say she does or what she doesn't do. I guess depends on where you're at in Japan. But yeah, I mean the whole woman in white trope has been around for forever, basically. So yeah, I mean I said why not? She probably exists. What about you, Ashton? What do you think?
Uh, I'm not sure if I believe in it, but I would welcome it if I saw her.
Me too. Thank you again, our ghosts and goblins, for listening to the Night Scholars. You all be good to each other. Don't answer the scratching at your window.
Or do.
But most importantly, stay safe out there.
Good night.